If you don't mind me asking, what form of addiction was it that you struggled with?
Alcohol, yeah, I was an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic, yeah.
And how did that addiction manifest itself in terms of the impact on your friends, your family, your work?
I isolated myself because my drinking was shameful. I couldn't drink in front of other people because I couldn't control my drinking. So I became I was drinking because I felt lonely, but I was making myself even more lonely and isolated. My life became my car, my living room, my kitchen and my bedroom, and that was about it. In terms of work, I was extremely irresponsible. I was a teacher. I was a teacher for 20 years and I would be in charge of children drunk on residential trips, losing control of them. And of course I had brushes with the law as well because I was driving drunk a lot of the time. But it was how it made me feel inside that was the worst. There was so much shame and because I couldn't tell anyone, it was a very lonely place to be.
And how did you go about choosing Broadway Lodge as the right place for you to get some help?
Well, I'd been in a treatment centre before and it hadn't reached me. I mean, it hadn't had an impact because I went back to drinking shortly after leaving and I knew I needed to try a different type of treatment centre because the previous one had been, one of these kind of luxury places where you had your own bedroom. It was really, really kind of private and it didn't sort of encourage you to be part of a community, which I think is extremely important when you're overcoming an addiction because you see yourself in other people and you need the support of your peers. Yeah. And that wasn't a feature of the other clinic. The results from Broadway Lodge, from what I could see, were excellent. It's got a very, very good reputation, and that's how I chose it.
And as you will know, they have a strong ethos on the therapy and the detox processes. How did you cope with them when you started there?
I threw myself into them because I was so desperate to find a solution and feel better. I was desperate. Yeah. I'd reached the point where I wanted to kill myself. I couldn't go on living a life that I was. I did everything they told me to because I really wanted to get better. And being in group therapy isn't an easy thing all the time because you're challenged on your beliefs and your view of the world, and to be challenged is sometimes difficult. But I threw myself into the process, and it was extremely supporting. The counsellors, they really know everything about you. Even counsellors that you don't work with, they know you. The amount of detail they understand about you is really incredible. And I think the group therapy, your issues present in groups with other people in interaction. So when you're in a group, it's like a microcosm of being out in the outside world where your issues will present. But you can deal with them immediately in the group setting. And, for me, it was a really important part of the treatment.
And what about the 12 steps? Obviously, that's a key thing that Broadway Lodge offer. How did you feel about the 12 steps and how did you cope with that process?
Well, like I said, I was so desperate to get better, I would try anything. And the 12 steps is a spiritual solution to a human problem. I knew I had to give the 12 steps a try because I could not stop drinking on my willpower alone. There is no way that using my willpower I could have stopped my addictive behaviours. No human power could have stopped me. I said I need to be under lock and key and watch 24 hours a day, which I was. But the 12 steps give you a spiritual solution to the problem because it's a spiritual disease. You can't sit in your own skin and feel okay. You can't, you don't feel at one with the world or the planet you're living in. It's a spiritual disease, so there has to be a spiritual solution. And the 12 steps are amazing because it's not just about putting down the drink. The 12 steps gives you a chance to work on yourself very, very deeply so that you can be the most content and useful person you can be in this world. So the rewards you get from the 12-step program, it's not just about putting down the drink, it's about being a better and happier person. So it's something that I still work on and will carry on working on.
And following on from that, what do you feel about the level of support that you received from everyone at Broadway Lodge?
Oh, it was incredible, you know, because I'm quite critical. And I really can't fault it. It's a family. It is a family. My counsellor knows me like nobody else. And like I said, even the counsellors that don't work with you, you know, they obviously discuss the clients they have on a very detailed level. They know who you're friends with, they know what you like, what you don't like, they know your fears. They really, really know you. I mean, counsellors, they all know your names and they remember your names. There's a counsellor there until 11 o'clock at night that you can talk to. The nursing staff are amazing. I mean, you go up there, burst into tears, and they'll sit you down and they'll do a counselling session with you ad hoc, you know. It's the one-to-one individual therapy that you get every other day. It's the group therapy that you get every single day. Even the cleaners, the housekeeping staff, they are an important part of Broadway Lodge. You know, and the chef, the people in the kitchen, they're there for you to talk to. They're not just cooking, you know, they're there to listen to you. It's incredible. It's a real family. And of course, the complementary therapies you get, you could have acupuncture every night. Massage, Reiki was always on offer. Yeah, I think they get it right. The level of support was incredible.
And that sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
What's life been like for you since leaving Broadway Lodge? How have things changed in your world?
Gosh, I feel like a different person. I feel like a different person. I don't remember feeling like this, ever. I was never comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't comfortable in the world. I feel a level of comfort now. Things are okay. You know, step 3 is about handing your will over to a power greater than yourself. And step 3 involves putting aside your willpower and doing things another way. And I did a massive step 3, I think. I realised I didn't have to live my life like that anymore, that I didn't have to carry on working myself into the ground. I didn't have to live alone anymore. I could do what I wanted to do. So I've quit my career to focus on being a well person. I'm retraining in something that I really want to do. I'm not ill. I'm not drunk driving around. Some days, you know, on a big binge, I wouldn't leave the house for 6 days unless it was to get more alcohol. I can show up for life today. And that's quite amazing after decades of isolation and addiction.
It really is. It's truly amazing. And what would you like to say to the staff at Broadway Lodge? And not just the staff, but the volunteers and everybody connected to that place that's helped you get to where you are today?
I just love them. I love you. I think 90% of the people there who work there as support workers, volunteers, counsellors, nurses, they are 90% of them are recovering addicts. Do
you think that makes a difference to their approach to treating?
No, because the ones that weren't addicts are fantastic too. And I think you need a lot of different approaches, you know. But thank God there are people like them that really love their job and love being there for other people. And, you know, there were great examples of sobriety to me. support workers, volunteers. There were examples of how to live your life in a useful, content, healthy way, how to deal with things in a healthy way. So they were shining examples to me. And Broadway Lodge is a massive part of my life. It's a special place in my heart.